start the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. I don't come for peace, I come for the storm. Fanboys melt quick when the truth gets warm. Soft content's high, I'm collecting those tears. Just got started, but I'm cutting through fears. I'm not here for brand deals, I'm not for sale. I expose your lies, rip off the veil.
Hello everyone. So unfortunately salt content has become a little low so far this week. So instead of giving you guys nothing, I have put together my 3 most popular videos, comprise them into one for one long compilation. I hope you guys enjoy. Oh boy, I am really starting to believe all the rumors that I keep hearing about Dreamcast guy. It is perfectly fine if you want to criticize the Switch 2, you don't like it. I have been very critical of the Switch 2. But the difference between like me and Dreamcast guy is I actually held the line. I didn't sit here tell everybody don't buy it, don't pre-order it, and then ran out and did it. That's exactly what Dreamcast guy is. So he wants to sit there and be like, oh, do I still hate it? I'm pretty certain we already know the answer to it. Let's get into this reaction.
And it has now been about a month since the Nintendo Switch 2 initially came out. I bought one day one, and I had some viral videos talking about how much I hated this, but
oh yeah, I wonder why they went so viral. Did it have something to do with you bashing the system so damn much? Telling people don't buy it, it's a waste of money, and then you went out and pre-ordered one the first chance you got? Oh yeah, that probably has something to do with it.
But I wanted to be open-minded to having my mind changed. So
that is such BS. You were in no way thinking of having your mind changed. You went out and bought it because you knew you could use it as a tax write-off, and you just secretly wanted it. The way you bashed that system and said that you absolutely hated it and still continue to play it, I seriously doubt that it would have changed your mind by now, because it's not like anything has come out for you to change your mind. We both know if you were going to play a third-party game, it would be on your PS5 Pro. You bought a PS5 Pro for a reason. You care about having the best graphics when it comes down to it. And if you didn't like Mario titles or Nintendo titles period, then you wouldn't have bashed that system to begin with. So who are you trying to kid?
for the entire month of June, this was my primary gaming device. I actually kept it with me constantly, playing it at the gym or out at the cafe or just anytime I wasn't actually doing something that required my attention.
I somehow do not believe that, because what games are you really playing on there? I guarantee you played all those third-party games by now. But I do hear rumors about you. The rumor is on the street that you may play 20 minutes to an hour of a game and then act like you played the thing and then do a review. That's just what I've heard. Because I'm pretty certain you came out with a Mario Kart World review day one. Now, you could play and beat that game in less than a day. You could honestly play and beat that and Fast Fusion in a day, if we're all being honest here.
I do a couple laps in Mario Kart or boot up some NSO games or something, and I wanted to talk about my thoughts after playing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of it, because
I have a very hard time believing that you've played hundreds of hours on that thing, just like you said, from the NSO and from Mario Kart World. Because if you truly did like Nintendo's IPs, you would not have bashed that system when it first came out. You would have not been bashing that system before it even released. So somehow, I do not believe you.
I still feel like I'm in a spot where this feels incredibly overpriced, especially for some of these accessories and stuff, but I'm beginning to see the potential long term, and I can see why.
Yeah, there were many people that were able to see the potential long term when it came to the Xbox, and we've been seeing how well that's been going. But I will admit, some of those accessories are very expensive, and there is one accessory that is expensive and freaking useless, and that is that damn ugly ass web camera that Nintendo wants to sell you.
Why the people that love this, I think I'll be on your side soon, but currently this still has some issues that absolutely, in my opinion, are unforgivable. But let's break it down.
To be honest, the only issues that I see with this so far is the overpriced Mario Kart World and giving us a game that should have been a pack-in title. For everything else, I'm actually pretty happy with. Only time's gonna tell if those controllers are a piece of crap like they were on the Switch one.
Now, I want to divide this video in half. I want to talk about this as two separate chunks, the hardware and the software, because currently
there's no way I'm reacting to both, so I'm just going to skip to the software. I'll watch some of the hardware. We'll see. It is kind of a long one, so we will actually see what's going on.
there is a lot of issues. Just in general, I feel like even people that own the Nintendo Switch 2, they're encountering problems and some benefits they perhaps didn't imagine. But let's start by talking about the system itself. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 is definitely a bigger, beefier device. It's got a
Yeah, it looks a little bigger, but I was told by other people, oh, it's way bigger. It's way more than an inch.
Now we have to talk about the screen drama. A lot of Nintendo Switch fans have been very offended about, well, the facts of the fact that a lot of people have done some deep dive analysis about how bad this screen is. They claim, oh, I don't see it.
If he's talking about the ghosting, then I didn't see it whatsoever. I think there are only a select few people that can actually see it. Unless you're purposely trying to make it happen, I don't think it's really going to happen. It's really going to affect most people. And if he sits there and says like, oh, it does affect me, you didn't say none of that before Digital Foundry came out and talked about it. So I think you're full of shit if you're going to sit here and do that.
This has an incredibly low quality screen that's worse than the original Nintendo Switch, than the Nintendo Switch OLED, than the Switch Lite. This has a strange blurring effect, and when it's in motion, maybe you don't notice it as much, but I do feel like as you play stuff, moving the menus around, playing 2D stuff, there is definitely a very apparent delay to stuff that just looks...
You're only saying this because Digital Foundry said it. You were not talking about it whatsoever until now. You never mentioned it in your review, why I hate the Switch 2, or you would have sat here and said it, so I don't actually believe you. I think you're just trying to piggyback off of Digital Foundry. Now, apparently there were people that were talking about it before Digital Foundry, and I do believe that there are some people that actually sit here and do it because they can replicate it. I have seen pictures of it, and it's not an easy thing really to do here.
Slightly off. I'm not going to claim it's game breaking. I'm not going to claim it's unplayable, but there is definitely something very strangely messed up about this screen that when you're trying to play it, I do feel like it's distracting at times.
For some people, yes, but not for you, or you would have sat here and mentioned it in your other review. Oh yeah, you love jumping on anything that's news related like that to sit here and continue on this console war BS to make it seem like the PS5 is the greatest thing ever. If you would have noticed that beforehand, you would have said something. I will agree that it is not, for what the price you pay for, I would expect a better screen. They should have went with an OLED screen, and maybe if they would have had to eat the cost, and they should have ate some of the cost.
Now, let's talk about the software, and I want to talk a bit about some of the new features of this. And I want to start with game chat. Now, this is something I want to test thoroughly because it is the new sort of bells and whistles, completely new function specifically for the Nintendo Switch 2. When you get the Switch 2 or you get the Switch 2 Pro controller, there's a big button, a C. And when you...
Which stands for a credit card. But I will admit that the whole game chat function that you got to pay for, it is ridiculous. That one should actually be free.
Press this C, it automatically pops up game chat. Now, this is something that allows you to essentially, finally, voice chat directly on your Nintendo Switch. Now, not only does it voice chat on your Nintendo Switch, it voice chats with your Nintendo Switch. This...
Oh, congratulations. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I would recommend for you guys just to use Discord. Connect another headset or something. Do it that way. Then you can talk with your friends. And it's free.
Actually has a built-in microphone. It has built-in noise cancellation that is extremely good. It gets very, very hot in this room. I will blast this AC unit. When I'm playing Splatoon with my bros, you can't hear anything except my crystal clear voice.
It's sad that you can get a better mic from that, but you can't sit there and somehow figure out how to use your mic. Me and you have the same damn mic.
Let's talk video games. I think my biggest problem right now with the Nintendo Switch 2 is the fact that it really doesn't have much to play. It really just doesn't have much overall. Like, you can play Mario Kart, you can play Cyberpunk, you can play Bravely Default Remake, which in my opinion, even though I am enjoying that game, it definitely should not be $40 on it.
Actually, I disagree. I think $40 for a report is actually a pretty fair, because they do got to spend money to actually make it work on the Switch 2. So yeah, you know what, $40, I think that's actually a very fair price. Now, it would be better if they sit there and would have put it physically on the cartridge, but I've said this before, when the only options you have is a game key card and a 64 gig, what do you expect them to do?
Honestly, the fact that it's a remake of a 3DS game, that should have been released on the original Nintendo Switch. Making that a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive was just scummy.
Okay, at first I got a little confused. So I think what he's trying to say is that it should have been released on the Switch 2 and the Switch 1. I'll agree with him. Yeah, it should have been.
And then there's Fast Fusion. I bought, I think, all the Nintendo Switch launch games.
I will say, Fast Fusion actually looks phenomenal. It really does.
At least all the ones I wanted to play. And they're all cool, but I don't feel like there's that big, stunning, tech-focused game.
There isn't. Not for no first party. They're going to be like, oh, that's what we got the third party for. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Nintendo Prime. I saw your newest video. I was going to react to it, but unfortunately, Dreamcast Guy and Harmon beat you to it. I had to sit here and do theirs first.
I always like whenever there's that next-gen game that really feels like it's the impossible feat. That game that is just so much better at crowd density or resolution or frame rate. You go, oh yeah, that's next-gen.
And I think it's possible that Donkey Kong Bonanza could have been that game. Now, we won't know until it actually comes out. That direct made it look amazing, but it is so easy to polish up a trailer or a direct or even a demo. You can polish those games up or polish those sections up to perfection to make it look like it, but we have been fooled before.
And I have to admit that nothing quite yet feels like that at all for the Nintendo Switch 2, and that's kind of boring if I'm being honest.
Okay, but you knew that before you even pre-ordered the damn thing. This was not a surprise to anybody. I was saying this before the pre-orders even came out for this damn system. We all knew that the only actual title coming out at launch was Mario Kart World. And yeah, even though it looked good, it did not look dramatically better than what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We knew what was going to happen. We were saying it. Dreamcast Guy, don't act like you did not know that this was coming. Stop acting like, oh, I got nothing to... You knew you were going to have nothing to play and you still chose to buy it. So I'm not going to feel bad for you. Stop trying to act like a victim. Stop trying to be like your friend Player Essence.
Now, with that being said, the graphical boost of Nintendo Switch 1 games has been nice. A lot of games across the board, especially in handheld, run better, they look better. There's a lot of games that were sort of stuttery 30 FPS that would sometimes dip down to 22 FPS or something like that.
Really, all they did was just up the frame rate and smooth it out. That's all they did. I wouldn't even say it's really a graphical boost by much. Maybe some of them might have a slight graphical boost.
I will say that right now, the primary problem of the Nintendo Switch 2, among everything else, I do think is just the fact that $80 games, $100 controllers, $500 console, that's the kind of stuff that I feel like is going to price people out of a market that used to be the cheapest. Nintendo.
Yes, but you knew about that before you even pre-ordered it. We all knew that the stuff was expensive. We all knew that Mario Kart World was overpriced. And you sat there and told people, do not buy it, hold out. And then you ran and pre-ordered at the first damn opportunity. This is why you get so much heat for what you say, Dreamcast Guy. And I'm starting to think you just do it on purpose to get the attention. I honestly believe you're just an attention seeker.
I'm the angry vigilante here to fight the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. I don't come for peace, I come for the storm. Fanboys melt quick when the truth gets warm. All content's high, I'm collecting those tears. Just got started, but I'm cutting through fears. I'm not here for brand deals, I'm not for sale. I expose your lies, rip off the veil.
What is up, everybody? I've been MIA a few days. I come back, looking at all the stuff that happened.
I'm going to speak for most of us when I say we did not miss you very much.
Feels like every single day there's a new problem with Switch 2.
Well, that's on Nintendo. Maybe if they marketed better, fairly priced things better, was more pro-consumer, maybe they wouldn't be getting so much hate. But you do realize that you brought some of that negativity upon them. When you sat there, overhyped Donkey Kong Bonanza, we all thought at first that you got a review copy or something, but no, you were overhyping a freaking demo. So some of this negativity is on you.
We got the screen ghosting issue. Like, did Nintendo actually ruin the system before it even started? They got the worst display ever. It's 10 times worse than...
Okay, I don't know about all that, but I will sit there and say, when I played my cousins, I didn't experience that ghosting issue. So whoever does experience it, I feel bad for you.
This computer monitor. We got the Mario Kart World issue where they're making it even worse for online play and people don't want the intermission tracks.
Which again, that was Nintendo's fault. Nintendo screwed up. Maybe they need to do what the people want them to do.
It feels like every moment possible, there's something very negative about Switch 2.
Oh, Boo Hoo, please don't sit there and criticize my favorite console. Get over it.
And look, I'm not here to even dive into the depth of is the screen ghosting.
I mean, why would we think you actually would? You only want to overhype this system. It would not surprise me if you're getting commissions off of certain things.
Is the Mario Kart World lobby situation need to be improved? It does.
Of course it does. Nobody wanted that to begin with, so what's the big deal? Why are you making this video? Is it because you're getting bored and don't have a whole lot of content to do?
I'm here more to say that I think we're kind of missing the point. And I feel like for whatever reason, maybe it's the state of the world around us causing stress and negativity.
No, it is not. It's called criticism. Criticism is a good thing. If you ignore all the negative stuff about Nintendo, then they're not going to get any better and they're going to keep doing it.
Maybe it's the fact that things are getting more expensive and wages aren't going up, so it's harder to buy.
Oh yes, things are getting so much more expensive, but at the same time, Nintendo was still the most profitable it's ever been under all that inflation.
Maybe it's just the way that it released and the $80 price tag. I don't know, but...
Oh, BS. Don't sit there and be like, I don't know, that's not wrong. You know damn well what's wrong. Of course it's always about the $80 price tag. Well, it's not just about that, but there's a lot more to it.
Regardless, I feel like the Switch 2 is being thrown through the cheese grater of nitpickiness.
And how about this? Make a good product and you won't have nothing to worry about. It's not our fault that Nintendo is not making a good enough product at the price they want to sell it at. I'm referring more to Mario Kart World than the actual console.
And I'm not saying we shouldn't focus on problems and try to get those fixed.
Bullshit. Yes, you are.
Or alert others to what's wrong with the system, or say like, hey, you know what, you really shouldn't peel off the protective layer on the screen, or you know what, Mario Kart World, could you like switch that back or actually add just the option to play the 3-lap tracks?
Really? How is sitting here saying don't peel off that thing supposed to be a negative thing? How is that criticizing Nintendo? Now, the second part you said, yes, they should add that back. They should have never took it out to begin with. But how about the price point? Why don't you bring up that shit?
That's all fine and good. It's more about the overall mood. It's more about the overall vibe. It's more about the overall way of looking at this Switch 2, okay?
Oh, Boo Hoo, please leave my precious Switch 2 alone. It is perfect in every way. Will you be quiet already?
Nintendo is in the best place they've been since probably the beginning.
Then why are you complaining then? If Nintendo has been so great and if it's in the best place, then ignore the negativity if you don't like it.
Right, they're in a phenomenal place. They're incredibly successful. They make killer games.
Oh yes, their games are so killer, aren't they? That's why they're overpricing them and definitely not even worth the standard AAA price, let alone the $80 price point.
They have the best entries in many of their franchises, one after the other.
My guy, at launch, you were given a multiplayer game that you could beat in 3 hours, and then you were given a $15 fast fusion game, which looks amazing, by the way, I might add. And then they overpriced, or sorry, not overpriced, they overcharged you for the welcome tour, which should have been pack-in at that.
They're able to do what they want to do, what they believe in, to bring this system that can be a handheld.
Who cares what they believe in? They also believe that you shouldn't be allowed to only do the standard 3-lap Grand Prix. They want you to do those horrible highway track parts included with it. So nobody cares what they believe in.
And a home console so they can unify their game development teams to make more games because they're not splitting the two.
Yes, it was a very good idea to combine the handheld and the console itself, because you can't sit there and have 2 separate bases anymore with the rise of mobile gaming, even though mobile gaming is one of the worst in existence.
And like all I feel lately from the Switch 2, were what, like 3 weeks, almost a month of the Switch 2, is so much negativity and so much like...
Boo-hoo, it's about criticism is all it is. The only reason why you're throwing a fit is because you don't think that Sony and Microsoft are getting any. Well, unfortunately, there isn't anything going on. And another reason, most of the Sonys and pretty much all but one of the Xbox people are actually keeping their mouths shut. They're not running around defending the $80 Outer Worlds too, like you guys keep defending Mario Kart World.
Wringing in our hands trying to find what's wrong with this system, where it's failed, where it's not worth it.
That's how it works with launch consoles. You should know this. How long have you been doing YouTube and you don't know that?
And I kind of think it sucks.
I don't recall anybody asking you what you think.
Like, does Nintendo Switch 2 have the greatest launch lineup ever? No. Is Nintendo Switch 2 the best price system ever? No. Does Nintendo Switch 2 have the best screen in the entire world? No.
Well, maybe if they would have gave it an OLED, it might have. See, there you go. Now you can sit here and actually say something negative.
And nowadays, I feel like we have better games. I feel like we have more options. I feel like we have cooler, unifying communities and online services, and there's just so much more room for negative, and there's so much more room for...
It's not negative. It's called criticism. Learn the difference.
Nitpicking. And in a lot of ways, you know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because games have gotten bigger. They're going to therefore attract a larger audience. They're going to therefore attract more money, more dollars, more attention, and they're therefore going to attract more eyeballs.
Yes, which means more criticism. If we didn't have people criticizing these companies, then games wouldn't get better. They would stay stale. Look what happened before.
More criticism, more greed, more everything, right?
Yes, and unfortunately, Nintendo is leading the way.
So part of it is the industry's fault. But the part that we can affect, because I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody who's the CEO of one of the major publishers that I can call up and say, hey, can you change this and stop making games as services, start making more single player, stop releasing games for $80. I can't do any of that.
Yes, you can. You have a following. You are an influencer. You can sit here and tell your audience, no, this is not okay. These prices are too high. We need to hold the line and refuse to sit here and pay for this crap. But no, you chose to bend the knee. You chose to spend the money, and it's going to affect everybody and make the gaming industry worse than what it already is.
What I can do, though, is look to have fun with these darn things. If they're not fun, I don't know what the real obsession with following the cult of video games to be negative is.
It doesn't matter if it's fun. Just because it's fun doesn't mean you should be paying it. Those prices are too damn high. It has nothing to do with being negative. It's all about criticism. You just don't know how to tell the difference already.
You know, the internet age has evolved this chamber where everyone has a voice, and in many ways that's cool, and in a lot of ways it creates so much pointless arguing, pointless negativity, pointless point counterpoint.
Well, we know you live in that echo chamber along with Nintendo on F you give me money. You don't even care about the consumer.
And it's like, unless the screen is busting, unless your game is breaking, unless you're miserable playing the game, getting like a migraine and you can't see it.
Well, the game is breaking. Your wallet, at least.
Why are we freaking out about the quality of the ghosting, of the screen, of the computer? Like, was it a problem 2 weeks ago? It wasn't.
For some people, it was, obviously. Oh, you know what? I'm done. I can't keep doing this. I am done with this guy for now. He is literally trying to do damage control. He's trying to act like, oh, it's okay to have some criticism, and then at the same time sit there and be like, nah, me, my Nintendo Switch, No, I'm done. You guys can go watch the original video.
I'm the angry vigilante here to fight the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. I don't come for peace, I come for the storm. Fanboys melt quick when the truth gets warm. Saw content's high, I'm collecting those tears. Just got started, but I'm cutting through fears. I'm not here for brand deals, I'm not for sale. I expose your lies, rip off the veil.
Well, the word on the street is Harmon Smith is not happy with what I said about Donkey Kong Bonanza. Let's get into it.
Shadow Fox debate, Angry Vigilante. No, I didn't bother watching that.
Oh, well, maybe you should have, Harmon. Come on, it would have been so much fun. Honestly, you didn't miss much because the technical issues kind of ruined it. If there wasn't any technical issues, it would have been an amazing debate.
Like, I just said that, like, Shadow Fox won the instant I saw it was announced, and I'm just like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember. You should have stuck around, Harmon. I was trying to talk with you. You know, it's okay. You can sit here and talk to Daddy some more if you want.
I didn't watch it. Like, Angry Vigilante Gaming is legit retarded. Like, I think...
Number one, you have no room to talk about anybody being retarded. And also, no one asked you on what you think. And what the hell is that cricket going on in the background? Why do you have a cricket farm in your damn basement? Did your Pikachu run away or something and you had to go kidnap Jiminy? Let Jiminy go already.
He's worse than Video Game Lover 58. Because, like, all he's doing right now is, like, grifting off of, like, the Nintendo hate community. He's, like,
I don't hate Nintendo. Unlike you, I'm actually a real Nintendo fan because I will hold Nintendo accountable. A real fan will do that.
Kind of the extreme example of what I'm talking about is like how retarded like PC gamers are. Like what I've seen say today,
First Player Essence says that I'm one of the more egregious ones. Now you're saying I'm like the extreme one? And just so you know, Harmon, I'm not really a PC gamer. I do play games on my laptop, but I primarily play most of my games on my PS5.
shit, what the fuck did he say? Yeah, he says Donkey Kong Bonanza will not sell 20 million units.
No, I never said that. What I said was Donkey Kong Bonanza is very highly unlikely they will sell over 20 million units. That's what I said.
Because hardly any game sells that much. And I was just kind of sitting there laughing at him because like it's 100% going to sell that.
Well, Harmon, if you think it's going to sell over that, why don't we make a friendly wager? If you win by the end of the Switch 2 life cycle, if it sells over 20 million units, I'll send you $500. But if I win and it doesn't sell over 20 million, then you are never allowed to play another Nintendo game or touch any type of Nintendo merchandise for as long as you live. Let's make that bet, shall we? If you're so certain that it will sell over 20 million, let's make this friendly wager here.
Like, it's already like #1 on Amazon. Like, what the fuck does he think is going to happen?
Well, of course it's gonna sell well. There's nothing really to play on the Switch 1 or Switch 2 right now. So of course it's gonna freaking sell. But the likelihood it's gonna sell over 20 million is not very likely. It is possible. Almost anything is possible. Here, I will use a better analogy to where you can understand. There's a possibility you could lose your virginity, but the probability of that is probably not gonna happen. Even though it's possible, most likely it's not going to happen.
Like, I was so, like, how out of touch can you get? Like, the downplaying of DK Bonanza is just straight up delusional.
No, the overhyping of DK Bonanza is delusional. You're acting like I said this game's going to do terribly or it's not going to sit here and do very well. I think the game will sell phenomenally well, but the likelihood that it gets over 20 million units is going to be very unlikely.
Like, I don't know what PC gamers are expecting to happen, but, like, it's going to do well, you know, it's just...
Of course it's going to sell well, you freaking idiot. You got no games to play right now, so of course it will. But guess what? The likelihood that this game is going to sell over 20 million is just highly unlikely, Harmon. You need to understand how math works. Was that not one of your good subjects in high school or something?
I mean, they're still trying to, like, pretend that Mario Kart World is failing because of, like, the update thing, which is, like, retarded.
Harmon, I don't think you even understand what the word failure is. I don't recall any of us sitting here saying that Mario Kart World is a failure. That game has sold phenomenally well, unfortunately. Even if everybody stopped playing it right now, no one ever played that game at all, the game will still be considered an achievement. It still will be considered a success, Harmon.
Like, I really don't know how long that narrative is going to last. Like, the idea that Nintendo, like, killed the game... It's just not gonna stick. It's just completely delusional.
Well, Harmon, unfortunately, that game is getting review bombed. Apparently.
Yeah, there's seething about a lot of stupid things right now, like not getting a Nintendo Direct, Mario Kart World, Bonanza. It's just kind of crazy seeing what they've been coming up with.
Harmon, nobody's coping and seething. It's called healthy criticism. Why don't you learn the damn difference?
It'll sell more than that? Probably. How much has Mario Odyssey sold? Like 27 million now, I think.
Well, guess what? Donkey Kong is not Mario. You do understand that not a single Donkey Kong game has sold over 10 million copies, right? You do understand that. At least I believe that's what it is. I'm pretty certain someone will fact check me.
Mario Odyssey is going to continue selling on Switch 2, by the way. I expected to see a spike after Bonanza, actually. But,
congratulations, nobody cares.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey did about that much, so I think it's, like, very reasonable to assume that Bonanza is going to do, like, as well or better.
Most likely not, Harmon. You do realize that a Donkey Kong game has not even come close to that amount of sales. So if you actually believe that it could sell more than Mario Odyssey, let's make that friendly wager. You have up to a week from now after I release this video to sit here and accept the terms. The terms are, if you win, after the Switch 2 life cycle, if it's sold over 20 million, I will give you $500. But if I win, you're never allowed to touch or play another Nintendo type thing ever again.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think DK doesn't have the same stigma that, like, Mario games have, which is kind of, like, a huge benefit to it. Because, like, you were allowed to say that, like, Donkey Kong was awesome. Like, nobody allowed you to do that for Mario growing up.
Well, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't remember people getting bashed for liking Mario. Maybe Pokemon, yes, I do remember hearing that. But Mario? No, not really. And now it's time to read off the members of the channel. And from now on, I will always go from the very first member to the newest member. But we got Koros Objective, Maximilian Pegasus 88, Mad Fox 94, Watari, Shade Milkman, Oh No Is Justin, Brian Payne, Jay Wesby 65, Andy Ritz, Sea Stars Piplup, and Cam. Thank you so much for becoming members of the channel. And if you truly enjoy this content, why don't you think about becoming a member? It's only $1 a month. You get special emotes, badges, and you get a shout out at the end of each video until it becomes too long, and then it'll be turned into a credit roll. And also, I got an awesome merch lined up for you guys. I got amazing shirts, hoodies, I got coffee mugs, I got desk mats, I got a bunch of different kinds, so why don't you check it out also. And please like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, guys, stay vigilant.
You can cry in the comments, but you won't survive. Like and subscribe if you feel that vibe.